background is pretty busy, isn't it? You don't even know where to focus. Should you focus on the pears? Maybe you should focus on the peaches, the grapes. You have no idea. That was done deliberately, yeah. But I'll explain that in just a minute, okay? But for now, what I wanted to talk to you about is about you and I. You're listening to me right now in the privacy of your home. It's just you and I, nobody else. So we can listen and we can learn and we can do whatever we want because it's in the privacy of your home. That's one of the beautiful things about the internet, I think, in that we can sit in our comfortable chair or in bed if you want to, and we can watch whatever programs are in the privacy of our home. This is what I wanted to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about being self-conscious about things that other people don't even notice, really. One lady I met the other day told me that she doesn't really like to go out and she doesn't like to be around people because she's always very conscious about her weight. Now, until she mentioned her weight, I didn't even think about it because what had happened in talking to her, I had gotten so involved in what she had to say, which was far more important, far more engrossing than her weight. But once she mentioned it, the thought in my head, and then all I could think about after that was her weight. Sort of remind me of another situation where this man just was so shy. He did not know how to talk to women. He just did not know how to do that. And he was always hoping that the woman would come over and talk to him. Well, that very rarely ever happened. And I asked him once, I says, what exactly are you afraid of? And of course he was very honest. He says, I am afraid of rejection. I said, okay, well, maybe you ought to read a book on sales, how to master the art of sales, because they talk about that a lot. And they also tell you how to overcome that. Here's the deal. In your mind, you say to yourself, I am going to talk to 20 people. 19 of them are going to reject me. Okay, so that you establish in your head, okay? That does not necessarily mean that you are going to fluff it off and that you won't give it 100% of your best effort. You will, each and every time. But the first rejection that you get, all you're doing in your mind is to say to yourself, okay, the first rejection is over with. I only have 18 more rejections to go. Don't forget that as far as your mind is concerned, reality and fantasy is exactly the same thing. So, you talk to the second person, except this time you're a little bit more experienced, you know a little bit more, and you have heard the objections, you have prepared for the objections. Okay, so the second time you talk to somebody, you're rejected again. Ah, good. Now you have only 17 more times to go before you hit the jackpot. The rejection, or what some people would call the failure, actually is a very positive thing, because with each rejection, with each failure, you learn something. And there you go. So I said, maybe you ought to approach women the same way. You expect to be rejected, but give it 100% of your effort. Well, he said, maybe it's all a matter of psychology. Maybe it's all in my head. If I learn to accept rejection as a learning experience, then I can't lose. It's a win-win situation. Well, the next time I saw him, he never got to 20. He got to 5. Only to find out that he and the lady that he was talking with had a lot more in common than he would ever believe. And he would never have met her had he not had the courage to say hello. I say that because sometimes we allow a flaw, something we see in the mirror, to interfere with our lives. Whether it is a weight problem, perhaps what you see in the mirror, you say to yourself, oh my God, I'm such an ugly person. Yeah, I use that 4-letter word on purpose. I'm such an ugly person. When in fact you're not. Every one of us are unique. We are all very unique. Now, let's talk about the background for a minute, okay? The reason why I put that background there is because I was trying to hide a flaw. Two flaws, really. Number one, I don't like my voice. I don't think it's very nice. I don't think it's very good. So, what I did, in talking to you, I wanted you to concentrate on the background, and perhaps I would get away with less than perfect voice. The second thing is my tooth. I'm very self-conscious about not having my tooth. Now, you probably didn't even notice that, did you? Until I mentioned it. And now that I have mentioned it, you can't stop looking to see what is he talking about. See? My tooth. The same thing applies to you. Sometimes you get so involved in what you see as a flaw that you don't give yourself the opportunity to meet others. You don't give yourself the opportunity to go out there and say hello, and you deprive the other person of your company, of your intellect, your charm, and you, of course, being very selfish, you deprive them of the company, the intimacy that you could have enjoyed otherwise. You see what I mean? Okay, so now that we've had this little chat, you and I, privately, in the privacy of your home, whatever your flaw is, this is what I want to tell you, okay? If somebody is going to allow the flaw to prevent them from being a friend of yours, you never needed that friend to begin with. Now, what I'd like you to do, flaw and all, is go out there, meet someone, say hello. If they don't return the greetings, that's their problem, not yours. You were kind enough to say hello. Sort of like when I went through the dollar store the other day, and behind me were two ladies. I opened the door, the first one went through, and she said nothing, just totally ignored me. And then she went through the second door, and in the store she went. The second lady, I held the door for her, she turned around and says, "Thank you very much." I said, "You're very welcome." And I reached around her and opened the second door for her. She turned back towards me and she smiled. A little tiny gesture. Little tiny gesture. It made my day, gave me faith in people. So, there you have it. Go out there, overcome that flaw, whether it's you're misguided, maybe, your thought in your head, whatever it is, go out there and say hello. Smile first.